Dragon Ball could have been completely different. What if Goku never hit his head and took over Earth? Or if Frieza wasn't a villain, but actually fought alongside Goku? Some of these ideas would have changed everything. Let's break down the craziest Dragon Ball what ifs, starting with the biggest one. What if Goku never hit his head? Goku was never meant to be Earth's hero. When he was sent to Earth as a baby, his mission was simple: wipe out all life and prepare the planet for Saiyan control. But after hitting his head, he forgot everything and became the Goku we know today. But what if that never happened? If Goku stayed true to his Saiyan instincts, things would have gone bad, fast. Grandpa Gohan wouldn't have been able to tame him. Goku would have destroyed everything, and the Dragon Balls gone before Bulma ever had the chance to find them. There's no Goku to stop the Red Ribbon Army, no one to fight Piccolo, and by the time Raditz arrives, Earth is already done for. At that point, Goku probably teams up with his brother, joins Vegeta and Nappa, and heads straight for Frieza's army. And if Goku still unlocks Super Saiyan, now Frieza's biggest threat is working right under him. But that's just one way things could have played out. What if the biggest threat to Frieza wasn't Goku at all, but Vegeta? What if he was the one sent to Earth instead? Vegeta was born to be the strongest Saiyan. Even as a kid, he was leagues ahead of Goku. So what if, instead of Kakarot, King Vegeta sent his own son to Earth? If that happened, things wouldn't play out like Goku's story at all. Vegeta wouldn't hit his head and lose his Saiyan instincts. Instead, he'd grow up knowing exactly who he was: a warrior prince destined to rule. Earth wouldn't stand a chance. Even if someone like Master Roshi or King Piccolo tried to stop him, they'd be nothing compared to a young Vegeta who's only getting stronger. By the time Raditz arrives, he wouldn't be there to recruit Vegeta, he'd be answering to him. Vegeta wouldn't be some disposable soldier under Frieza, he'd be building his own army. And when Frieza eventually catches wind of just how powerful he's becoming, things could get dangerous for both of them. But what if Vegeta never had to fight Frieza alone? What if, instead of Vegeta, the real Saiyan rebellion started years earlier, with Goku's father Bardock surviving and taking the fight straight to Frieza? Bardock wasn't like the other Saiyans. He wasn't just a warrior. He saw through Frieza's lies and knew what was coming. But what if, instead of being wiped out with Planet Vegeta, he actually survived? If Bardock lived, he wouldn't just hide, he'd fight. He was already strong for a low-class Saiyan, and after surviving Frieza's attack, he'd only get stronger. He'd gather the remaining Saiyans, slowly building a rebellion from the shadows. Frieza, of course, wouldn't take that lightly. He'd hunt Bardock down, but by then, it might be too late. If Bardock learned to control his power and even unlocked Super Saiyan, Frieza could have had a real problem on his hands way before Goku ever showed up. And if Bardock was strong enough to take out Frieza, that completely rewrites Dragon Ball. The Saiyans wouldn't be nearly extinct, they'd still be out there, conquering planets. And Goku? He wouldn't have been raised on Earth at all. But Bardock surviving is one thing. What if someone else from the Saiyan race had lived, and instead of fighting for revenge, they actually joined the Z Fighters? What if Raditz never died, and turned good? Raditz wasn't just Goku's brother. He was the first real glimpse of what Saiyans were capable of. But instead of being just another villain for Goku to beat, what if he actually survived and changed sides? If Raditz lived, it wouldn't happen instantly. He was too proud, too loyal to the Saiyan way. But after seeing Goku's strength and experiencing defeat firsthand, he might have realized that Frieza was the real enemy, not Earth. Over time, training alongside Goku, Raditz could have gotten much stronger, maybe even reaching Super Saiyan before Vegeta did. And if he stuck around long enough for Namek, a Super Saiyan Raditz versus Frieza would have been something else. But if Raditz could change, what about the universe's biggest tyrant? What if, instead of ruling with fear, Frieza actually joined the Z Fighters? It sounds impossible, but think about it. Frieza was never loyal to anyone but himself. The only reason he kept his empire was because he was the strongest. But what if, after his defeat on Namek, he realized brute force wasn't enough? What if, instead of coming back for revenge, he saw an even bigger opportunity, aligning with the Saiyans instead of fighting them? Frieza was already leagues above most of the Z Fighters. If he trained alongside Goku and Vegeta, Golden Frieza could have been unlocked way earlier, and if they actually worked together, that's a team strong enough to take down Beerus, or even rival the gods of destruction. But here's the real problem. Could Frieza ever truly be trusted? Even if he fought alongside Goku, would he always have a backup plan, or would he eventually betray them? And if Frieza wasn't the universe's biggest threat anymore, who would be? Because if it wasn't Frieza ruling the universe with fear, what if that power fell into someone else's hands? What if Cell never absorbed Android 18, room and took in someone much stronger. Cell was already terrifying at his perfect form, but what if he absorbed someone even stronger than the androids? What if, instead of 18, Cell absorbed Goku? The idea sounds insane, but it's not impossible. Think about it. During the Cell games, Goku was already exhausted after his fight with Cell. If Cell saw an opening, he could have switched plans, overpowering Goku and absorbing him instead of Android 18. And if that happened, Cell wouldn't just be perfect, he'd be unstoppable. Saiyan DNA alone made him stronger, but with Goku's power, he could unlock Super Saiyan transformations, maybe even push himself into Super Saiyan 2 before Gohan ever had the chance. And what about Gohan? Would he still have snapped and defeated Cell? Or would he have hesitated, knowing his father was now part of the monster he was fighting? But if Goku was absorbed, that raises another question. What if, instead of fighting Cell, Gohan had never stopped training in the first place? What if he reached his full potential before anyone else? Gohan was supposed to be the strongest. Every time he was pushed to his limit, he surpassed expectations, but after the Cell saga, he stopped training. So what if he didn't? If Gohan kept pushing himself, things would have played out very differently. Instead of slacking off before Buu arrived, he could have unlocked Super Saiyan 3 before Goku ever did, or even skipped straight to God Kai before Battle of Gods. Imagine Ultimate Gohan with God Ki, or even Ultra Instinct, and with that kind of power, Majin Buu wouldn't have stood a chance. The entire Buu saga could have ended in minutes. No need for Gotenks, no Super Vegito, no last-second Spirit Bomb. Gohan would have crushed Buu before he ever had the chance to absorb anyone. But here's where things get really interesting. If Gohan was the strongest from the start, where would that leave Goku and Vegeta? Would they have fallen behind? Or would Vegeta have taken it personally and pushed himself even further? And speaking of Vegeta, what if things had played out differently in his biggest battle against Goku? What if, instead of losing, Majin Vegeta actually won? Majin Vegeta was at his absolute peak, fueled by Babidi dark magic, but still completely in control of his mind. He wasn't just fighting Goku, he was proving that he was the better Saiyan. But what if, instead of their fight ending in a stalemate, Vegeta actually defeated Goku? If Vegeta had knocked Goku out, Buu's awakening would have played out completely differently. With no Goku to stop him, Vegeta might have tried to finish Buu off alone, but no matter how strong he was, Majin Vegeta was still no match for Buu's regeneration. Maybe he would have attempted his final explosion sooner, sacrificing himself before Buu got too strong. But without Goku to hold him back, would he have truly turned good? Or would his victory over Goku push him further into darkness, making him the real final villain of the saga? But what if, instead of Vegeta struggling against Buu, Goku never had to fight him at all? What if he was fully healed and ready to go long before Buu was ever unleashed? Back on Namek, Goku barely survived his battle against the Ginyu Force. He was stuck in a healing pod while Frieza was wiping out everyone else. But what if Dende, with his healing abilities, had found Goku earlier and restored him to full power before the final battle? A fully healed Goku would have faced Frieza at his absolute peak. No exhaustion, no limits, and no need for a drawn-out fight. Could he have beaten Frieza even before turning Super Saiyan? If so, Namek might have never been destroyed, meaning no desperate escape, no emotional trigger from Krillin's death, and no Super Saiyan transformation. Without that rage-fueled breakthrough, would Goku have ever reached Super Saiyan at all? Would he have needed a different push later, maybe against the androids or even Cell? The butterfly effect could have changed everything, because in Dragon Ball, small changes change everything. If Krillin never died, Goku might have never gone Super Saiyan, but Krillin's death was just one of many brutal ones, and some way worse. Just ask future Gohan or Frieza's victims. Click the video on the screen to see the most brutal deaths in Dragon Ball.